Did you know that Dunkin' Donuts makes over 2 billion donuts every year?
Choco butternut.
Butternut?
Butternut.
Choco butternut.
Butternut.
That's enough to wrap around the planet multiple times. But here's the real question. How do they do it? How does each donut come out looking and tasting exactly the same, whether you buy it in New York, Tokyo, or London? Well, today here at The Process World, we're going inside the world of Dunkin's massive donut making operation. Without further ado, let's get right into it. The origins start way back in 1950, where a man named William Rosenberg opened a small shop in Quincy, Massachusetts, selling coffee and snacks. Back then it was called Kettle. But one thing stood out. Customers kept ordering coffee and donuts more than anything else. Seeing the demand, he made a bold move. Renamed the shop Dunkin' Donuts and focused entirely on perfecting this simple yet unbeatable combo. The idea took off, and within a few years, Dunkin' was expanding fast, becoming a go-to spot for morning coffee runs across New England and beyond. By the 1970s, Dunkin' Donuts had franchises across the U.S., and its brand only got bigger with its famous "Time to Make the Donuts" commercials in the 1980s. What started as one shop turned into a global giant, with over 12,000 locations in 40 countries, selling millions of donuts daily. But mass-producing donuts at this scale isn't just about frying dough. It takes an entire factory system designed for precision, speed, and consistency. Before we get into that, please leave a like and subscribe for more amazing videos like this one. Now, moving on. Every donut starts with a carefully measured mix of ingredients. Dunkin' doesn't just throw things together and hope for the best. Each batch follows a strict formula to ensure that every donut has the same taste, texture, and quality, no matter where it's made. The base ingredients are 100% enriched bleached flour, granulated sugar, active dry yeast, whole milk, eggs, butter, and salt. The flour provides structure while the sugar feeds the yeast and adds sweetness. The yeast is what makes the dough rise, giving the donuts that soft, airy texture. Milk and eggs enhance the flavor, and butter brings richness. Everything has a role, and if the ratios are even slightly off, the final product won't be the same. Inside the factory, massive industrial mixers combine these ingredients with pinpoint accuracy. These mixers can handle up to 1,000 pounds of dough at a time, spinning at speeds of up to 200 RPM to make sure everything blends perfectly. The mixing process is closely monitored because even small temperature changes can affect how the yeast behaves. Once the dough is mixed, it moves on to kneading, a crucial step that gives Dunkin' Donuts their signature light and airy texture. At this stage, large automated kneading machines stretch, press, and fold the dough repeatedly, working out any inconsistencies and making sure the ingredients are fully incorporated. This process also helps develop gluten, which gives the donuts their soft but structured feel. As the kneading happens, the yeast inside the dough gets to work. Yeast is a living organism, and when it feeds on the sugar in the dough, it releases carbon dioxide gas. This creates tiny air pockets, which is what makes the donuts soft inside. The more active the yeast, the more the dough expands. After kneading, the dough rests and rises in a carefully controlled environment. Factories use proofing chambers set between 75 and 80 degrees Fahrenheit, with just the right amount of humidity. Here, the dough continues to expand, growing up to 50% larger as the yeast keeps releasing gas. Timing is everything at this stage. If the dough rises too much, the donuts will end up too airy. If it doesn't rise enough, they turn out dense and chewy. To avoid this, factory workers monitor the process closely, making sure that each batch is proofed for just the right amount of time. By the end of proofing, the dough is ready. It has that perfect texture for shaping. Factories use high-speed cutting machines that stamp out thousands of donuts in just minutes. The dough is first rolled out to a uniform thickness of about a half an inch. This step is important because it ensures that every donut fries evenly later on. If the dough is too thick, the inside won't cook properly. Too thin, and the donuts won't have that soft, fluffy bite. Next, the rolled dough moves through automated cutters that stamp out the signature donut rings. Each cutter is designed to press out the outer circle while punching a hole in the center at the same time. For filled donuts, this machine skips the hole, leaving them intact so they can be injected with fillings later. To reduce waste, the leftover dough from the cutouts doesn't go to waste. It's collected, reworked, and added back into the mix for future batches. This ensures efficiency while keeping the process as sustainable as possible. Next, the shaped dough pieces are placed into trays ready for the next step, frying. Now this step happens quickly, but every second counts. The donuts are gently placed into industrial deep fryers filled with vegetable oil heated to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. A specialized conveyor system lowers them into the oil, making sure they don't lose their shape. Each donut is fried for about 90 seconds per side, ensuring that the outer crisps while the inside stays soft and airy. The oil temperature is constantly monitored. If it's too hot, the donuts will brown too fast on the outside while staying raw on the inside. Factories use high-tech sensors to keep everything at the perfect temperature, ensuring that each batch is fried evenly. Once the frying is done, the donuts are lifted out of the oil and placed onto wire cooling racks. This allows the excess oil to drain off while letting them settle to the perfect texture. At this stage, they have the signature golden color and light, crispy outer layer that Dunkin Donuts are known for. Freshly fried and still warm, these donuts are now ready for the next step, the one that takes them from simple fried dough to the sweet treats that people love. First is the glazing station. The warm donuts pass under a continuous stream of liquid glaze, made from powdered sugar, water, and vanilla. As they roll through, they get a perfect, even coating. Once the glaze cools, it hardens into a smooth, slightly glossy layer that adds the right amount of sweetness. For filled donuts, things work a little differently. Instead of passing under the glaze, they move to the filling injectors. These machines use pneumatic pumps to insert precise amounts of filling, whether it's Boston cream, jelly, or vanilla custard, without damaging the donut's soft structure. Each one is carefully measured to ensure that every bite has the right balance of dough and filling. Next, the donuts that need extra toppings go through the decorating stage. Chocolate icing, sprinkles, and seasonal decorations are applied with perfect timing. If the toppings are added too early, they slide off. Too late, and they don't stick properly. Automated dispensers release sprinkles, crushed nuts, or powdered sugar at the exact moment the glaze is still tacky enough to hold them in place. At the end of this step, the donuts are fully dressed and ready for their final inspection. With millions of donuts made every day, Dunkin' has a strict quality control process to make sure that every single one meets the company's high standards. No donut leaves the factory without passing a series of detailed checks. First, workers inspect size, shape, and the color of each batch. The donuts should be evenly cooked, golden brown, and uniform in size. If one is too small, too large, or off color, it's removed from the line. For filled donuts, precision is key. Inspectors check that the filling is evenly distributed, ensuring every bite has the right amount of cream or jelly. If a donut is underfilled or overfilled, it doesn't make the cut. Factories also use automated vision systems to scan the donuts at high speeds. These machines detect inconsistencies in shape, toppings, and glaze coverage, helping to catch any small imperfections that the human eye might miss. Beyond appearance, the donuts go through taste testing. Quality testers sample batches throughout the day, checking for texture, moisture, and flavor consistency. Every donut should have the same light, airy bite and balanced sweetness that Dunkin' customers expect. With quality checks complete, the donuts are now ready for packaging and delivery. Factories use high-speed packaging machines that can handle up to 10,000 donuts per hour. Each box is filled in a way that prevents the donuts from getting squished or losing their toppings. Inside, the humidity levels are controlled at around 50%, while the storage temperature stays between 68 and 72 degrees Fahrenheit. This helps maintain softness and prevent drying during transportation. They also follow a centralized bakery model, meaning the donuts are made in regional production hubs and then shipped fresh to local stores multiple times a day. This step ensures that whether a customer walks into a Dunkin' shop in the morning or late afternoon, the donuts they get are still fresh. Once packed, the donuts are loaded onto temperature-regulated trucks, where they're transported to thousands of Dunkin' locations worldwide. The entire process from mixing the dough to delivery is designed for speed, consistency, and freshness. At this point, the donuts are ready to hit the shelves, waiting for customers to grab their favorite flavors. Now, here's something to think about. If every Dunkin' Donuts ever made were stacked on top of each other, how high do you think the tower would reach? Would it touch the moon? Go beyond? Drop your wildest guesses in the comments.